All right, thank you for staying with us on Good Morning Nigeria. It's time to take you through the papers in a moment.
Our newspaper reviewer, Chukudi Okoli Ugbaja, is here. Chuks,
Hello.
good morning.
Demola, good morning. A bit cold, but I saw the sun, coming out from the clouds, from the east. So it's going to be a warm day.
So it's safe to say you are the wise man from the east.
Why not? God shows mercy to his children.
You never can tell that it will be hot. Sometimes you see the sun in the morning, and before you know it, the weather will just change, and you just have the rains.
As unpredictable as the weather.
Well, this is the season. Let's get going, and I lead with the Daily Times. The headline story here reads, Tinubu's 2-year achievements, proof of visionary leadership, and that's according to the Information Minister, and that story is on page 2. Just above the nameplate, Chief of Army Staff relocates to Benue as Army sets to end killings. That's on page 10. Automatic tickets to NAS members, APC addresses reports, is on page 2. And just below the picture story, which has the president conferring the national honor on Bill Gates. Okay? But below that picture story, federal civil servants to FG settle 10-month arrears by June 30, or not sure what will happen. That's on page 2. And beside it, withheld LG allocations, Osun State drags FG to Supreme Court, is on page 2. Let's leave the Daily Times for now and head to the Business NG, which leads with the story, CBN under pressure as BDC deadline expires, threatens 3 million jobs. And it has the rider, only 5% BDCs comply to deadline. Interesting. In a tiny strip just above that story, USSD telcos to charge customers in bid to resolve 250 billion naira debt crisis. Not banks, says NCC. That's on page 14. And above the nameplate, Bua says NPA abused office, credits Buhari with restoring order, is on page 2. And just beside it, power shift rocks Ondo Assembly as Deputy Speaker, Majority Leader resign. That story is on page 2. I think we'll leave it here, but not before I take this last one. 12.5 kg cooking gas hits 20,268 naira as prices surge nearly 10% month to month. Ademola.
All right, thank you, Victor. I have the Daily Trust newspaper with me, and just below the nameplate, we have Mokwa, bodies of 7 children recovered as search continues. Details on page 10. Army chiefs relocates to Benue as 270 killed in 2 months. Details of that story can be found on page 6. Rivers, Fubara visit Tinubu in Lagos. Details of that story can be found on page 5. No automatic tickets for National Assembly members, APC. Details can be found on page 3 and 4. Arafat, Saudi warns pilgrims of heat wave. Details can be found on page 32. Parents seek alternatives over prolonged FCT teachers strike. Details on page 20. Sand heap collapses, kills 11 Almajere in Kaduna. Details on page 8. Tinubu, Matawale should be commended for reinvigorated Navy. DME Saka. Details can be found on page 14. Chooks.
What was the price intelligence? We were dropping about the 12.5 kg gas cylinder.
The story is saying that cooking gas has now hit 12.5 kg has now hit 20,268 268 naira, as prices surged nearly 10%
When did that
on a
happen?
month-to-month basis.
I bought that just a week ago, and I paid 13,000 what?
Actually, I bought like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I paid 14,000
Yeah,
naira.
thereabout. We'll check it out, please.
Maybe within the week.
We'll check it out. Yeah, APC says no automatic tickets for National Assembly members. I would say I am not one of those who like automatic tickets. It's just that there are certain things that the citizenry are not in control of. It's a party affair. Otherwise, I'll tell you that when you give automatic tickets, you're not going to know about that young man who's aspiring to leadership from his community, a constituency, who could do better than the incumbent you have there. It's always good to make it a fair ground for a fair competition. You understand?
But automatic tickets does not confer, winning the election. So if that small boy could find himself in another party, he tests his popularity with the people.
What about the time lag for him to be able to prepare to join other parties? What about other parties having their own candidates? How do you now unseat that?
You just find there are parties. We have multitude of parties.
It's the ultimate thing for me, which I think should be the view of a journalist, but then I'm talking about this.
No, I agree.
Is let it be open.
Yeah.
No gates barred to anybody.
Yeah.
That's democracy at its best. But political parties would always be political parties. There are things they know you do not know, so they claim. But ultimately, I am saying you're stifling my choice as a voter.
No, that's at the party level. That's the point I'm trying to make. That's at the party level. That's not the general election. Okay. And so, if you pick somebody who is unpopular, for instance, and give him the automatic ticket, then your party loses. If you test it with the people.
Let's not stretch it. I think it's still, my point is still valid. Army chief relocates to Benue. Anytime we read about Benue here, I have a way of raising some, I don't think it's something we should be hearing almost on a daily basis. And I say, what is happening in Benue? The killing has become free for all. And you don't want to tell me it's such an unlawless territory. Let's be more serious about it. Maybe that first real seriousness is being demonstrated now by the relocation of the army chief to Benue. What are the benefits? Oh, guys around, though, you better work hard. It also lifts the morale of the soldiers. If the big man himself can be on the theater of, conflict, who am I not to? Little things that push up the fighting spirit. I like it. Ultimately, we're expecting that results will come from the action. It's not just as something done for the heck of it, So,
this Arafat's Saudi warns pilgrims of heat wave. Remember that we had a similar, incident some time ago that some Nigerians died as a result of heat wave.
Yes. When you're going to a territory you do not know, it's not every Muslim that has done it over and over. There are some first timers. When you're going to a territory you do not know, you must have travel advice. And that is what is happening now. First of all, they're saying that your closeness to water is very important. Open places may be the best for you as long as safety is assured. And also, drinking water is very important. To be forewarned is to be forward armed. So I think it's a good thing. It's a wonderful advisory. It's for people intending to go to now, take it to heart and do the best they can to ensure that they come back to us in one piece.
All right, and just before we let you go, this withheld LG allocations, Osun State drags FG to Supreme Court. And overnight, pictures emerged of the governor of Osun, his older brother, Davido's father, and Davido himself were at the president's place in Lagos. So you might find that these are things that could be talked over.
There's nothing in the world that cannot be discussed. Nothing. Nothing. So dialogue is it all the time. But for me, from the journalistic point of view again, I like democracy playing itself out. Remember Obasanjo and Lagos State. We liked it, and we liked the effect eventually.
Well,
all right.
Dialogue is it. Thank you very much, Chooks.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break now. When we come back, the conversation will start. Stay with us.